Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm Charlita. For those of you that are returning, welcome, and for those of you that are new, welcome. So today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I wanted to give budgeting tips to those of us that are single, divorced mothers, but I also want to say that you could actually use these tips regardless of your circumstance. As many of you know who have looked at previous videos, I have been on my own since the summer of July 2022. That is when my husband and I, my ex-husband and I, separated. So I'm going to put my Blu-ray eyeglasses on. These are non-prescription because I've been having some issues with my eyes. So what I would suggest, the first step when budgeting, because when you are on your own and when you are not used to being on your own, and especially if you were used to living in a household where the two of you combined your incomes perhaps, or if you're just not used to, maybe you were in a situation where you weren't paying any bills. So, you know, it can be kind of overwhelming when you have to pay bills. So I'm going to just be transparent with my situation. So for me, once I moved into this place, this was the first time I had ever lived on my own. Because when I left my parents' home when I was younger, I went right into living with my ex-husband, and then shortly after that we got married. So I had never, this is the first time that I had ever lived on my own. So I was not used to managing an entire household on my own. So currently my income is the only income that I have to support me and my kids. They are with me the majority of the time. And, you know, I don't have any, I'm not receiving any type of assistance. It's just literally my income. So the very first step that you want to do when budgeting is you want to be aware of all of the bills that you have. So you want to list all of your bills out, and you want to also list the due date. So you want to list the bills, and then you want to list the amount, and then you also want to list the due date. Now, I get paid every 2 weeks. So what I do is I will budget for every paycheck, and I have it the easiest way for me. I know sometimes some people may use those budgeting books. I don't know if that's what you call them, but they're like the notebooks, and where you can use those, or like me, I just use Excel. And what I do is for each paycheck, I have the date. And unfortunately for me, I get paid on salary. So my paycheck never really fluctuates. I know when I'm going to get every single paycheck. So this can be, if you want to kind of like have like a ballpark idea of what you're going to get, you should have a ballpark idea of how much money you're going to get if you are getting paid hourly. So what I do is I have my Excel spreadsheet, and then I'm trying to see if there's a way that I can show this to you, because I don't want to actually put my real numbers out there. But what I do is I have my paycheck, the date that I'm going to get paid. And so like, if I know that, let's say for example, I know that I'm going to be getting paid on January 17th, and I know that I'm going to be getting paid on January 31st. So I'm able to budget for those for January 17th, and then I can also budget ahead for January 31st. So I have all of my bills written out. I know when they're due. So what I will do is, so I know exactly in my Excel for January 17th, I have the amount of my paycheck, and then I list all the bills that I need to pay based off of the due date on January 17th. Now, another tip is I do the split bill method. And I apply that for my highest bills. So like, obviously my rent, that would be I would do the split bill method for that. And what I mean by that is for each paycheck, like I know that my rent is due February 1st. So for January 17th, I set aside half. That's the split bill method. You set aside half for that bill. So like, let's say, for example, your rent was $1,200. So you would set aside $600 on your January 17th check, and then $600 on your January 31st check. And it kind of makes it so that it's not as overwhelming doing the split bill method. I also do the split bill method for my car payment as well, and my car insurance. I live in Georgia, so car insurance is outrageous. So that's what I do for those. So I try to leave a little bit of buffer. So like what I said is, so for example, let's say if my rent was $1,200 a month, and I'm setting aside $600 per each paycheck. What I will do is I will set aside a little bit more, so that way I have a little bit of a buffer and a little bit of a cushion. So instead of saving exactly $600, I may put aside, let's say $750 or something like that, if my rent was $1,200. So you kind of want to have like a little bit of a buffer when you're budgeting, just in case something was to happen. You don't want to be at the point where, you are completely like at exactly meeting your budget, and then that way if you were to have like an added expense, or if something was to go a little bit higher, or maybe if the price fluctuated 1 week or 1 month rather, you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have enough to cover that and then you're under budget. But by just doing this, it helps you to be able to see exactly how much money you're spending, and then how much money you have left over. So for me, for example, I have my, for January 17th, I'll be paying my gas south bill, my car payment, so half of my car payment. I have my car insurance. I have my savings that I'm putting aside. I take that out and I put that into, that's in a whole separate account as well for my rent, that I put aside into a whole separate account for my rent. Then I have my cell phone bill and my, and then I also have something else that I'm doing as well, because I'm budgeting as well, because I have some medical bills that I have to pay. So I kind of have that listed on here as well, because I'm paying a little bit on that as well. And then I have a whole separate account that I have for groceries. So what I do is a portion of my paycheck that goes to a whole nother account where I budget for groceries. So if you can do that, I would suggest having your money going into multiple accounts. So that way you have one account where it's specifically designated for your rent or your mortgage, which is one of your highest expenses. And I just feel like personally, you want to make sure that no matter what, you're able to pay your rent. So if you can have that in a separate account where you're not going in, and even if you can have it on automatic pay, I know some people don't like having everything on automatic pay because you feel like, your paycheck is gone before you see it. But, it's just, you want to make sure that your most important expenses, like having a roof over your head, that's paid. And for groceries, I have that in a separate account because I don't want to go over for groceries, because it's very easy when you're shopping, and especially if you have kids, to end up going over. So I have a very strict grocery budget. So that's the reason why I have a portion of my paycheck going into an account that is just designated for groceries. So, what else can I tell you? Hey, one of the things that I forgot to mention when I realized that when I was editing this video, I forgot to say that you may have to find a way to supplement your income. So like maybe if there is a product that you can make that you can sell online, for example, if you make candles, maybe you make bath bombs, something that you can sell online and make in your home, that doesn't necessarily take you away from your other responsibilities. But if you can find a way to supplement your income, that would be great. Maybe there's a service that you offer, like maybe if you can do hair on the side, do nails, find some kind of way to supplement your income. I know I have had to do that, and I actually am currently doing that, just so that way I have just a little extra money, just in case for those extra expenses. So I forgot to mention that, but that is another tip. So also too, one of the things that has, besides doing the split bill method, which has been a tremendous has made a tremendous difference in keeping me from not getting stressed out, is also if I can have anything like on a fixed rate. For example, like I live in Georgia, and so we do have months that get extremely cold and where it's like below freezing. And so it is, instead of having my, because I have electric and then I also have gas. And so instead of having my gas on a, where it's like a rate where it just kind of like fluctuates, I have a fixed rate. So no matter what, for me, I'm paying $113 every single month, regardless of how much heat I use or how much I don't. Now, during the summer, you may say, well, during the summer, you're not going to have your gas, you're not going to, be using your heat. So why would you do that? However, I do have other, I use my gas during the summer months as well, although I don't use the heat. And yes, and while I may not use as much as I would use because I'm not having the heat on, it makes a huge difference because last year, when I was not on a fixed rate, when I was paying my gas south bill through the property management company had managed it. And so it was just like fluctuating. And now we have it they have their tenants, they had us put it in our own names because I think they got so many complaints, but that's a whole nother issue. But anyway, I noticed that it would fluctuate. So like during the winter, sometimes my bill, one time I think it was almost $300. So it's worth it because at least I know how much my bill is going to be and it's not going to fluctuate. For my power, I have my power, I do a pay as you go. So during like this time, because I'm not using my AC as much, my air condition, my power bill, it's at a very, I'm able to put $35 on it a week because I have a pay as you go. And I try not to it's kind of like you put money on your account and then you can kind of see how much you use. And so that allows you to be able to say how much money you need to put into your account if you are able to be on a pay-as-you-go power plan. So it's through Greystone. I do the pay-as-you-go. And so I try not to let it go below $20. So like when I get paid, I'll just put like, I'll try to bring it up to $40. And being that it's the winter time, I only use I see that it's about like $2 or $3 a day. During the summer though, and especially like if I'm doing laundry, I do notice that we use a lot more power. But during this month, I'm using more gas because it's colder outside than what I am with power. So I hope that that this was helpful. If you have specific questions or if you need any type of assistance with budgeting, you can reach out to me. If you want to know how to pay down debt, I can assist with that, because when my ex-husband and I had separated, I did have to pay off, even though not everything was in my name, but I still wanted to get my credit to a certain number. So I had to pay some stuff off, just because we all know that when you're married, if the other person, because you're tied to that person, even if it's not necessarily your debt, you still may be liable for it. So I had to pay some of that stuff off just to bring my credit score to the number that I wanted it to be. So I can assist with that. But hopefully these tips are helpful. I know that I've seen several videos on no spend challenges, and I've kind of been on a no spend challenge since I've been on my own. I try to save more than what I spend, but it can be kind of difficult when you are a single parent on your own and you're managing all the bills on your own, and it can be kind of challenging to spend more than what you're saving. But I would recommend, if you are able to, just have an account where your money just goes into savings, like maybe even if it's just 2% of your paycheck, if you can just put it into another account that you're not touching. Just start off small. Just let me know if these tips were helpful, or if you need some specific assistance. If you need assistance with setting up an Excel spreadsheet, I can assist you with that. But hopefully these tips are helpful, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Take care. Bye.